exactly how to approach it. So let me put it this way. A couple assignments ago, I was the department chief of physical therapy at the Department of Defense's largest hospital. I mean, think about it for a minute where you are and how many visits a month your clinic does. The clinic network I was in charge of did 12 to 15,000 visits a month. That's a big place.
Oh my.
There are bigger places.
Yes.
I'm not saying I'm the biggest, but that's a lot of visits and that's a lot of locations. I had a lot of people. I had to think to myself, man, I got all these locations spread across the city, including one in this really big hospital. How am I going to get my arms around this and figure out how to be effective? And the first thing I thought to myself is, who are my most important customers? And I'm not talking about my boss, right? I'm talking about my customers. And I thought to myself, okay, when it comes to people who get referrals for PT, who's the number one? So I asked my clinical operations people who do the spreadsheets and stuff. I love those folks. They're very helpful. And they said, okay, well, most of your referrals come from family medicine. Got it. So I figured out who the chief of family medicine was and who the chief nurse of family medicine was. And those are two of my most important customers. I went to meet them. I told them my name. I gave them my cell phone number, my personal cell phone number, and said, I'm here to support you. How is physical therapy doing in meeting your needs? Anything you need me to improve on? Is there anything that I'm doing well that you need me to continue? This is my cell phone. Call or text me anytime I can help. And then the next after that was orthopedics. So I had to see the chief of orthopedics and the chief nurse at ortho. And I said, how are we doing? Right? And he had some feedback for me, as they often do. And I say, no problem. I got you. Right? We are going to solve these issues and work it out ourselves. I intuitively understood that conflict between me and my customers was a loser. It's a losing deal. I'm not here to compete with my customers. I'm here to deliver for them. And so I really had to change that kind of relationship a little bit and be more in a service role to my customers. So I think wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and I'm not talking about your boss, you have probably 3 to 5 most important customers. These are people you are accountable for delivering results for. And I'm not talking about the people who write your annual evaluation, right? Now that might be, so let's say you're in a PT practice somewhere. Who's your biggest referral source? Who's a referral source you know well? Who's a person in your community who understands the value of what you do and can help you get your word out? Maybe you've got a patient that comes in and is doing so well and has had their life changed so much for the better by PT. I know we've all got those folks. I know if you're listening to this right now, you're probably thinking of somebody right now who this is, right? Is that somebody that you can tap into? And that person becomes a great marketing person, not only for physical therapy in general, but for your practice. And those are examples of some of the customers that I'm talking about. And so when I focused on really, really delivering for my customers and seeing myself through my customers' eyes, I really started to do a lot better on average. And some people might say, well, why do you call them customers? You guys are all in the government. They're not paying you. I said, oh, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, I think the money part of it is the least important part. It's the service connection that matters. I'm responsible for serving those people. So they're my customers.